Hello and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video it's going to be pretty much just a chat video. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit and introduce myself a little more. But before we get into the video, I want to I'm sure you've noticed that it's better lighting. I have this beautiful background here, which I'm so excited about. It is so much better. That's all I can say. And so I'm so thankful that I was able to do that and get all of this. And hopefully the videos are going to be better quality. You're going to enjoy them much, much more. I am still using my older camera, which is still a great camera. It's still brand new, but it's a little older. I think I bought it in 2015, maybe 14. So I'm going to continue using that until I am able to update that. And I also am still using my older software on my iMac desktop. And so until I'm able to do that, I will go ahead and continue using what I have. But I wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way of the video because I'm pretty sure you've noticed. And I'm just so excited, and it just makes it even so much more enjoyable. In today's video, I just wanted to come on here and just kind of chat with you guys a little bit, kind of introduce myself just a little bit more, so that you can kind of get to know me. I did ask that if you guys wanted to get to know me a little bit more, leave questions down in the comments, with questions that you'd like to know about me. And I haven't got very many responses, so I thought I would just go ahead and kind of just do a little chit chat video, talking about myself and my family, and also kind of wanting to let you know about my spiritual journey as well, how I've come to know the Lord for myself, that I am a Christian. And so I just wanted to kind of just let you guys know how that came about and how I was able to build my own personal relationship with the Lord, and kind of share a little bit about that with you guys, and kind of go back a little bit about my family and all of that. So today's going to be a more casual video. It's just going to be a talking, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully it just gives you a little bit more, lets you know a little bit more about myself and all of that. So if you see me looking down, I have a little note card here of different things that I wanted to kind of just talk to you guys about. This may not answer all of your questions as far as about myself, or if there are other things you'd like to know, if you guys would like to do a Q&A, just leave it in the comments down below. And even when I do a next video, whether it be a tutorial or whatever type of video, I can go ahead and do a talk through, and I can answer some of your questions that you may have that I maybe don't answer today for you guys in the next few videos. If that's something that you are interested in, you can leave that all down below. So let's go ahead and get started. So basically I'm just going to start with myself. My name is Delilah, and to most people that are closest to me, they know me as Dee Dee, and that's pretty much what my channel is under Dee Dee DeCourt. And I am 38 years old, and I am married, and I have been married now. In December of this year, it will be 18 years. I was 21 when I married my husband, and we have 2 children together. Lila Lou, she's our little girl, and she's 10 years old. And then we have our son, which is Jojo, and he is 13 years old. And something fun and exciting, which was fun and exciting for me, today he did get his braces put on, and so he's been super excited about it, and he finally was able to do that. We do have a little puppy. I say a puppy, but she's actually an adult dog. Her name is Chiquita, and she is a long-hair Chihuahua with part Pomeranian in her, and she's the sweetest. Okay, so as I was saying, I think I left off with my son. My dog Chiquita. I got her since she was a baby, and I've had her since 2014. She's almost 4 years old, and she is almost like a human being. She is one of the... Actually, I'm going to go get her, so hold on. Because you probably want to see if I'm saying how cute she is. Okay, so this is my puppy, Chiquita. I say a puppy, but she's actually an adult dog already. And this is our little baby. As I said, my daughter's 10 years old, and so this is the baby in the house right now. And she's super spoiled, and she's loved so very much. What's wrong with you? Are you sick? Huh? You want to say hi to the peoples? And yes, I do talk to her like she's a baby, but we love her so, so very much, and she's spoiled rotten. She thinks she's human. She thinks she's a infant baby. She allows us to hold her like infant baby, and we just love her so very much. And so I wanted to show her in this video so you can see how cute she is. But of course she goes ahead and she starts with her licking and her yawning and all of that. But this is our little Chiquita. So she is our baby. Okay, so she's going to want me to hold her the whole time while I'm in here, but she might change her mind and want to go out. But like I was saying, so I've been with my husband now we've been married almost 18 years in December, but we have been together since we were 15 years old. We originally met at a church youth camp in California. That is where I'm from. My husband is from Hawaii, and he had come to visit in California where I lived, and he came to a youth camp. We were 15 years old, and we met there, but we have been together since then, and so we've known each other for a very, very long time. I have 7 sisters, including me, and 2 brothers, and I have a ton of nieces and nephews, a ton of great nieces and nephews, and I have a really, really big family. They are all in California. Okay, so like I was saying, so that's just a little bit about me, and my kids are so total opposites, and one is like me and one is like my husband, of course, which I think typically happens. My love for makeup I can't say that it came at a young age, because I didn't start playing in makeup or really knowing about makeup. I mean, I had heard of makeup when I was younger, and in high school I seen girls wear it and all of that, but I didn't start to get into makeup until I was 18 years old. Growing up, we were raised in a Pentecostal church, me and my family, and we were not allowed to wear makeup. We weren't allowed to wear jewelry and all that kind of stuff, pants and all of that. We weren't able to cut our hair, color our hair, anything. So I didn't really get a chance to experience any of that or try any of that for myself. But when I got older and I turned 18, I did go ahead and start to try makeup and get into makeup. And I started to, I remember that when I turned 18, I had really super long hair past my bottom. And I did go ahead and chop it all off. I think I cut it to, like, not myself, but the girls that I was friends with at the time cut my hair all the way to my shoulders. And of course I loved it because it was something so new, something I had never experienced before. And so I did that. And then I also started getting into makeup. But once I got into the makeup, I truly, truly started to really love it. I loved it ever since then. I went through a phase where I wore makeup for the first time at 18. Then I went to not wearing makeup for a little bit. And then I finally got back into it again. And so now that I have makeup, wear makeup, and have chosen for myself that it's okay to wear makeup, there's nothing wrong with that. I truly do. I really do enjoy it. And back to kind of why I stopped wearing makeup, or didn't wear makeup as a young girl. Like I said, we were raised in a Pentecostal church, and my mom did not allow us to wear makeup or anything. But when we became an age of an adult, we did go ahead and, or I myself did go ahead and try makeup. And I just truly liked it and loved it. And ever since then, I've just kind of been learning and finding new makeup and exploring with makeup. And it's just so fun to me, and I just truly enjoy it. And that is why, one of the reasons why I decided to start a channel. And because I truly do like it. I truly love all things beauty. I love to help people as well, to find great deals. I do have a lot of high-end makeup, but I do also have a lot of drugstore makeup, and I truly love both of them. And I don't feel that you have to spend a lot of money or even buy high-end makeup to get better quality. I think there's so many drugstore products. There's so many things that you can purchase that are not expensive at all and can give you just as good quality as some of the other expensive makeup. I don't think there's anything wrong with every now and then going and treating yourself to higher end makeup if it's something that you want to do. But I do love to go to the drugstore, find great deals. I love going over to whatever store it is and looking in sale areas, clearance areas. Even in Sephora, they sometimes will have their clearance section, and sometimes they'll have really good deals of things, and sometimes they won't. They'll have clearance of good deals, but they may not have the best of products that I maybe enjoy. So it's just, there's so many options out there. And so with my channel, I just kind of want to share my love for makeup and beauty. I also want to share with you guys on ways to save money on makeup, and also share with you great affordable products. I also want to be able to do reviews of products for you guys as well. And so it's just going to be a mixture of things on my channel. But I kind of went off topic, so let me go back a little bit. So like I said, we were raised in church, and so when I turned of age, I did try makeup. And I kind of went through this phase so as I was growing up, you know, we went to church and all of that, and in some sense, I would say that we were somewhat forced to go to church because we were young and we didn't have a choice and all of that. But in that, I have to say that I'm thankful to my mom for doing that, because, and then I remember my grandmother, which is no longer with us. We would stay at her house, and she would put us on a church bus on Sunday mornings, and she would send us off on the bus to church, and we would just go have a good time. And I remember just loving to go on that church bus to go to church and from church, and they drop us off. And through all of that, even though as we were young, my mom, you know, would have us to pray, and she would have us, you know, get involved in things like that. Okay, sorry about that. So I came to the Lord at a young age. In the beginning, I feel like I was a little bit made to by my mom. But as I continued to pray, and as I continued to reach the Lord for myself, as I continued to pray and seek God for myself, I started to hunger and desire for my own personal relationship with the Lord. Now, growing up, I did not have the easiest or the best childhood, but compared to so many more people, I would have to say that I was truly blessed, and that life could have been much, much worse. So I'm so thankful for the life that I had, through the struggles that I had, whether they were all that we went through, and I won't go into so much of detail. But, you know, my mom went through a lot, and she did everything she possibly could to provide, to take care of each and every one of us the best that she knew how to. And so because of her, I was able to find my own path, my own way, and my own relationship with the Lord. And so for that, I am truly thankful to my mom, because her making us go to church and her making us pray and all of that helped us to feel the presence of the Lord, be able to hunger for our own relationships with the Lord. It wasn't that we were falling off of her or trying to receive what she was receiving. We basically had a hunger and a desire for our own walks, our own paths with the Lord. And so we were raised in church, like I said, all of my life. When I was 18 years old, I did kind of separate myself from the church. I got around the wrong people, around the wrong group. And when I turned 18, I decided I'm going to just go all out. I'm going to move out of my mom's house with strangers. And then after I did that, I just started to really become rebellious and try those things that the world makes you feel like, oh, you're missing so much of, and it's just so fun and all of that. But needless to say that I have experienced some things, and I truly wasn't, now that I look back, I truly wasn't missing anything at all for what the world had to offer for me. I was perfectly fine with where I was at, and but I went through some things, and through all of that trial and error, it has taught me exactly where I want to be in my life, what type of life I want to live, what type of example that I want to be, not only to my children, but to my family, to people that I'm around. And so I have now been consistently serving the Lord for, I would say, since I was 20 years old. I want to say 20 or 21, somewhere around there. And throughout that time, it's not been easy. I've been through many, many things. And one misconception that I have to say that people have about living for God is that life then becomes perfect and that all your troubles go away and nothing bad happens anymore because, you're living for the Lord and all of that. I will say that that is a false thing, and that you still do have your ups and downs. You still have trial and error throughout your walk with God, but it's what you perceive of every situation that determines the outcome. And I will say and be honest that there's times where I failed, where I had either was too weak, or I didn't put myself, search for myself, or seek God's face as much as I maybe should have to get through the situation easier, better, whatever you want to call it. And so for me, that's one thing that I want people to know, that just because you decide, whether it was many years ago or it's months from now, or whenever, if it's today, and you decide that you want to follow Christ and you want to dedicate your life to the Lord and you want to live for Him, that everything, all the bad stuff goes out the window and everything good will happen in life, and that it would all just be a bed of roses. But that's so far from the truth. I'm not saying that living for God is a bad thing, or that your life becomes worse. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you still have trial and error. You still have trials that come your way. But what I have learned in all the years that I've lived for the Lord is that if I adapt to what I'm going through at the time, whatever it may be, and I adapt, and I search myself, and I seek God's face in that situation, and really seek God and ask Him to show me what it is that I'm to receive from this trial, what I'm to take from it, what I'm to learn from it and apply myself. that when I look back at my life, I can say that so many people have it so much worse, and I feel truly blessed with the good and the bad, even the bad that I've gone through in life. I'm so thankful to God for helping me through it. He's the only one that has got me through every situation. But for me, I feel like without God that I can't do anything. And that's the point that I've reached in my walk with God. I don't just go around and profess, oh, I'm a Christian. I try to let people see in the way that I am and the way that I love, and at times it can be hard loving those people that have done you wrong, which is a whole nother topic. That can be really hard. When I lost my grandmother in 2002, I believe January, I think that was probably one of the hardest things that I had ever gone through. And if I'm honest with you guys, I have to say that I was a little bit angry with the Lord, because at the time I was serving the Lord and everything, and I had so much faith. And as the scripture says, that if you have faith as small as a grain of mustard seed, that you can move mountains. And so in my mind, I trusted God. I believed that God would heal her, and that she would be okay and she would make it. And I remember at the time, because I was very young, I think I was 21 years old, almost 22. And I think that was the one time in my life that I truly was angry with God. And I'm sure many people have gone through that, and, feeling like they're angry with God, and, why would God let this happen? And I remember feeling like all my prayers had just kind of literally went out the window. And so I remember at the time I was so angry, and I felt like, why didn't God hear my prayers? What was going on and all of that. And I remember, feeling like, do I want to continue going to church? Do I not? And I remember speaking with my pastor at the time, he in California, and a great man of God. And I remember him telling me, making a statement to me. And what he said to me, it was like the Lord had he can tell that I was struggling. And the Lord had just given him the right words at the right time. I remember seeing him at Landmark. It's a big worship convention, and big convention they do in California, and I remember him just saying these certain words, this certain phrase to me, and I remember it resonating so well. And when he said it, it just clicked in my head, and it was like, okay, God, I hear you, I hear what you're saying. And I received it, and I received what he had said to me, because I knew that it was from the Lord. And from that moment on, I was able to release the anger. I was able to release the blame that I had towards the Lord because of taking my grandmother. And because of that time, it has helped me grow so much more in my walk with him. And I've learned that because bad things happen, that I have no right to be mad at God or to blame him, because God knows what's best in every situation. He knows from beginning to end, and that no matter what I go through, maybe I don't understand it. Sometimes we're not to understand the situations that we go through, but to know and to really trust God, and to know that God knows truly what's best for each and every one of us. And so for me, that moment really opened my eyes to so many more things, and it literally taught me so much in just that one moment. And I've been through other things from that point when I lost her up into this point in my life. I've been through some other things, but I've learned, God has shown me in each situation how to overcome it, how to get through it. And I've learned that if I'm just constantly seeking God's face in every situation, every trial that I face, that God is my help and that He will see me through every situation, that there's never a problem that is too hard or too tough for God. Another thing that I went through just recently, like I said earlier in the video, was the loss of my dad. This time it was a different experience. I was not angry with God for taking my dad. Did I continue to pray for healing for my dad? Of course. Did I believe that God would heal him if it was what God wanted? Yes. But when the Lord decided to take him, I was at peace with it because I knew that what my prayers were, and I knew what I asked God and what I told God. And so for me, when he passed away, is it still hard for me to this day? Yes. Do I still struggle with it? Yes. But there's a difference in when my grandmother passed away versus my dad. There's not anger. There's not any blame or why didn't you do this, God, or why is he not here and all of that. There's been a peace because I know that God's will is far better than ours and that his will is perfect. And though we will never understand or know, that I have to trust him in all that he decides. And so for me, I was just so thankful and blessed that in my dad's end of his life, that my dad was able to rebuild that connection that he himself had with the Lord at one point in his life. And so for me, that I think was the greatest joy, the biggest blessing, and to be able to experience that with my dad, words can't even express that. So I kind of did go a little bit off topic, but I just wanted to share with you guys. I kind of went a little bit all over the place, and I wanted to share. There's been many, many things that I can be so thankful for and give God all the praise for. And there's things that I just kind of wanted to share with you guys, some things that I had been through and times where I did kind of have these feelings towards the Lord, which we are all human. And we're entitled to feel. But I want people to know that, that God is our constant and forever help. And he does stick closer than a brother or sister. And that in all my life and all the time that I've been serving the Lord, that I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for him and me being able to put my trust in him in every area of my life. I do still struggle with different things even to this day. I'm not by no means perfect. I never will be until one day I reach the other side, which is my goal. But while I'm here, I will continue to make mistakes. But I have chosen to learn from each of those mistakes and to grow from each mistake that I make and to try my hardest not to repeat the same mistake that I went through or the same choices that I made, and to be a good example to people around me, whether it be a stranger, a friend, a family member, or my children. And the difference I would say with me and my husband and our kids is that though we were raised to serve God and go to church and sit up in church and do all of that, we are raising our children to know the Lord, and we have spoken to our children about building their own relationships with the Lord, but we don't want to be the type of parents that cause our children or force our children to serve God, but we want them to find God for themselves, even at a young age, and to build their own personal relationship with the Lord for themselves. Okay, so as I was saying, I apologize. I know this video is going to be kind of all over the place, and maybe I didn't necessarily talk exactly about what I wanted to because my brain is kind of scattered and all over the place. But I just kind of wanted to give a little bit about myself and my walk with the Lord, and just basically let you guys know that I have personally built my own walk with the Lord, and although I do still face situations, I have come and learned to get through each situation, and I do that with the help of the Lord. And so I just want to be able to encourage somebody that even if today or when you watch this video that you are going through something, just know, just like the phrase states, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. And I know that that's easier said than done, because I've been there where I've felt as though I wasn't going to make it through, and so it can seem harder at the time. But when I look back, even with myself and all that I've gone through in life, whatever it may be, whatever situation that I maybe had faced, and I look back, and at the time that you're in the situation, it seems so hard and so big. But once you look back at it and you've gone through it, you realize that it really wasn't as hard or as big as it felt at the time. And so I just want to encourage all of you, if you're going through something, not to give up. Continue to trust God. Continue to seek God for the help, and ask Him, what is it that you are to receive from the situation that you're facing? What is it that you're to do? Is there something you can do to change the situation that you might be in? Sometimes it does take us, maybe there's something we're not doing right, and there's something we need to change to better ourselves. So I just hope that I'm able to encourage somebody. I know, like I said a few times, that this video is kind of all over the place, but for myself, I can speak for myself only. Living for God has been truly the best thing in my life, and I can't imagine life without. I was stating that I can't imagine my life without the Lord, living for the Lord. And I don't take that phrase lightly. I don't just go around saying I'm a Christian, or that I'm saved or anything like that. I try to not use that phrase, I'm a Christian, because I feel that that's a whole nother topic that we don't need to get on today. But that phrase is so used just so easily and so nonchalantly nowadays. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys a backstory on my own personal walk with the Lord, and where I came to find the Lord for myself and all of that. And so, like I was saying, without the Lord in my life, I don't know where I would be. I know I would be in worse situations. I would be very unhappy, and I would be very unhappy and just in a worse place in my life. So I'm thankful to have my own personal relationship with the Lord. And I do still struggle, like I was saying previously. I have different struggles, and I fall short, at times, but I'm quick to get back up and know that God is a forgiver, and that He loves us regardless of mistakes we make and regardless of our faults. That is definitely not a false statement, that is very true and very real. And so I know that anything that I face in this life, that I can get through it with the help of the Lord. Because He is our help, our strength, and in His Word He does say that we can do all things through Him who gives us strength. And I can say that 100% I fall back on that and depend on that scripture, because I know that anything I go through, that He's going to help me see me. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It was all over the place. But I hope that you were able to receive something from it. If there is a question that you have that maybe I didn't answer in this video, or you have something else that you want to know, please just leave it down in the comments below, and I can answer that for you either through the comments, or I can answer that in another video. If I'm doing a talk through tutorial, I can just answer some of your questions you may have. They can be any questions that you have for me. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It is a little bit different of a video. It's just kind of talking and just chatting with you guys so you guys can kind of get to know me just a little bit better. And I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe if you would like to see future videos from me. I thank you guys again so much for watching. And until the next video, I will see you guys later. Bye.